It's Tuesday. All the week 3 games are played. So happy to be done with the Monday night doubleheaders. This will make this segment all the more easier because it is time for power rankings. And after a week like we saw in week 3, yeah, go ahead and guess. They look a good bit different. Lots of movement in the middle. Actually, a fair amount of movement at the top after some upsets and one very impressive win. But let's start. I like to start where the chaos is, where things seem the bleakest, because I'm sick like that. Let's go down at number 31, falling 3 spots. It is the Denver Broncos. And maybe I can hear what you're saying. Shouldn't the Broncos be dead last in the NFL after allowing 70 points and 700 plus yards? Yes, that would be totally justifiable, but that speaks to how bleak things are in Chicago that the Bears hold on to the last place spot. Tough week for both organizations. At least it doesn't sound like the Broncos are firing anybody after that loss, whereas the Bears have already seen their defensive coordinator resign. Sean Payton, after the worst butt kicking of his career, the worst butt kicking of most people's careers, he says, this is one of those weeks where you're going to take a butt whooping like that and you're going to find out a lot about everyone. The fun thing about this is that the Broncos get to play the Chicago Bears. So by the end of week 4, we're going to know exactly who the worst team in the NFL is. If that doesn't sound exciting to you, we're just not the same. I cannot wait to just wallow in the mud of Denver and Chicago. One of those teams gets a win and the other falls to 0-4 and will undoubtedly be the most hopeless franchise in the NFL for the time being. I feel like a psychopath, but I'm legitimately giddy about that game. Let's take it on up. 2 teams with much, much nicer looking prospects than they had at the start of the season. We will start in the 24 spot, jumping up 6 places. The Arizona Cardinals. Who's tanking? Who said this team was tanking? Yeah, I did. And a whole bunch of people. And the Arizona Cardinals rubbing it in mine and a lot of other people's faces. They put it on the Cowboys. I said it already. I'll say it again. This wasn't some cute little upset where they ran trick plays to trick the Cowboys and slay Goliath. No, they took it to them. They ran for 222 yards. When the Cowboys tried to climb back into the game, they hit big gains. They were ready. They had a great game plan and they executed the hell out of it. Jonathan Gannon, amazing job. We talked about it with Moose Johnston earlier in the show. I don't know where they're going, but they look so much better than I gave them credit for. All the jokes about Caleb Williams, at least for the next couple of weeks, I think we shelve those because there are other teams that are far more deserving of that type of ridicule. Nice little start to the season for the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of the same stuff can be said for the Houston Texans, who jump up 8 spots to 23. I think there was a lot more reason for optimism with the Texans because, new head coach, DeMeco Ryans, he was the hot hire of the year. Number 2 overall pick, CJ Stroud. You throw in Will Anderson. Arizona's got the weirdness of Kyler Murray recovering from his ACL. Nothing like that going on in Houston, just a lot of young talent. My only question was how quickly they would get it going, and the answer is very quickly. Taking it to the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that I picked to finish atop the AFC because of a weak division. Well, how weak is the division really if CJ Stroud's playing like that? He's at 900 yards through 3 games. He's averaging 300 yards per outing. Houston's offensive line completely decimated. I think only one week 1 starter on that offensive line played against Jacksonville, and it did not matter. 20 of 30 for 280. He looks like a franchise guy. It's early. Anthony Richardson didn't even play. Bryce Young didn't even play. I'm not trying to award anybody the pick of the year or the steal of the draft or anything, but CJ Stroud belongs here. That is very obvious. DeMeco Ryans is good at his job. Who would have guessed the Texans flustering the Jags into a very forgettable day? The vibes are good here, y'all. The vibes are good. And for the same reason that I felt good about the Jags, you can apply that same logic to the Texans. That division is down. If this is how they're going to play, there's every reason to think they could make some serious noise. I like their odds in all of their next 4 or 5 games. Again, I'm not trying to put them in the top 10 yet, but man, I feel good about the Houston Texans, which I don't think I expected myself to say a whole lot of times this season. All right, let's jump it up the board a little bit. I like to put teams together when I know that they're going to play. It's a little cheat code of mine. So why not do it again here at number 10, the Green Bay Packers jumping up a hefty 5 spots after that loss in Atlanta. And it looked like they were going to lose another one. Honestly, 80% of this game was very forgettable, but it carries a lot of weight when you can overcome a 3-score deficit in less than 1 quarter, which is what the Packers did. It all played together. You needed special teams. You needed defense. You needed offense. Jordan Love looking like a savvy veteran. Matt LaFleur doing cool nerd stuff, going for 2-point conversions when he didn't have to because he knew it would give him a better chance to win, and it did. The defense beating up on the New Orleans offensive line. This was my pick to win the NFC North, and this is why. I think there's enough around Jordan Love to make him look good like this. You get the running game going. Romeo Doubs looking like a guy beyond his years. Jaden Reed looking like a rookie steal. And remember, the Green Bay offensive line has been banged up for 2 weeks now. If you can even hope to get some of those guys healthy, you can maybe reach an even higher ceiling. I feel great about the Packers as a fringe top 10 team. And now we get to find out, because Thursday Night Football, they go against the number 9 overall team, and that's the Detroit Lions. Detroit bouncing back from that overtime loss to Seattle with a dominant win against Atlanta, sitting just inside the top 10. They shut down Bijan Robinson. They shut down the Atlanta offense, hold them to 2 field goals. Defense gets 7 sacks, I think it was. It was some big number. Flustered Desmond Ridder all day. Didn't let the Falcons get anything going. Not a memorable game, but that's what makes it impressive, is that it was supposed to be the game of the week, and the Lions just took it to them from beginning to end. So last time we saw these two, it was the Lions kicking the Packers out of the playoffs. Nothing that juicy is up for grabs, but a division rivalry at Lambeau Field and a measuring stick game. Like, these are the 2 teams that look the most likely to win the NFC North. Where do things stand? The Lions, I think, have a good bit more experience, particularly at quarterback. Obviously, guy that's been to a Super Bowl going against a guy making his 5th career start. But I don't know. I really like the vibes in Green Bay. I can't wait to see who comes out of that with the early bragging rights and the early bead on maybe grabbing that NFC North title. So jump it all the way up to number 1. You know who it is. How could it be anybody but the Miami Dolphins? Apologies to the 49ers. Apologies to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. You're all great, but none of you scored 70 points. None of you rolled up 726 yards of offense or had 2 different running backs score 4 touchdowns. I can't even keep track of it all. It's a performance we might not ever see again, considering the last time this happened, Lyndon B. Johnson was president. So yeah, if you do something like that, you get to jump up to number 1. It's not a knock against the Niners or anybody else. It's just a game unlike anything we've ever seen. And I know that Denver's all the way down at 31, but some things just defy competition. If you can do that in the NFL, it says a lot about where you're at. That's why the Dolphins are on top of the power rankings. That's why Tua Tagovailoa is the MVP frontrunner. I cannot wait to see how they follow it up. You realize the Dolphins could score 38 points next week, and it would look lame by comparison once you have a video game day like that. Although the Dolphins travel up to Buffalo to face the Bills next week. So if they put up 38, I have a feeling they'll be staying right there on top of the power rankings, but we'll see how it goes. That does it for our show. We will be back Thursday. I already teed it up. We got Lions Packers in the very near future. We got so much to get to. We'll catch y'all next time. I appreciate it. Go find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Tell your friends, just start a conversation with somebody. Say, hey, there's this really great podcast with this guy that talks too much, but I really think you'll like it if you like the NFL. Yeah, do that. I'm done. Thank you so much. We'll catch y'all next time.